So, if there was a spin-off of a Manhattan, but it was weird and esoteric, and you had to like know somebody to get one of the ingredients, what else could it be called? I'm Robb Report's resident bartender, Jason O'Brien, and this is the Brooklyn. Modern vermouth, what we think of as vermouth, was invented in the 1700s, but it takes about 100 years to get across the ocean to America. And as soon as it comes in the 1880s or so, bartenders start riffing with it. We're a very tinkery bunch. And so the first thing we do is create the Manhattan. Rye whiskey, sweet vermouth, dash of bitters. Next, there's the Martinez, which is a little bit less known, but it was very foundational. It's gin this time, still sweet vermouth, still bitters, and a little bit of a liqueur called maraschino liqueur. And then there's the Bronx cocktail that is still gin, still sweet vermouth, but with dry vermouth this time added, and some orange juice. By the way, the reason you've never had a Bronx cocktail is that it tastes bad. So there's a Manhattan cocktail and a Bronx cocktail, and not to be outdone, Brooklyn stands up and says, what about me? So the Brooklyn cocktail from 1908 is rye whiskey still, dry vermouth this time. Again, a little bit of maraschino liqueur and a newcomer ingredient, Amer Picon. Now the reason you may not have had this drink is that it is actually illegal to import Amer Picon. So why go through all this effort? Because there is a sizable cohort of people for whom a normal Manhattan is just kind of too sweet. Like if I had a room full of 10 people and I asked them if they wanted a regular Manhattan or a version of Manhattan, just as complex, just as delicious, but less sweet, I'm gonna be making 8 Brooklyns. But let's start with one. So, what is Amer Picon? Amer Picon is a French bitter that is not allowed to be imported because it has an herb called calamus that the FDA forbids. So even though it's like $10 a liter in a French supermarket, it's got this forbidden fruit fascination and appeal. But our question here is not how do we most faithfully reproduce the Picon from the 1890s? The question is, how do you make the best Brooklyn? So, after trying literally all of the recommended subs and all of the DIY things, my favorite solution for this at home work is Amaro Ramozzotti and a dash of orange bitters. And the reason is that it's simple and totally delicious and pretty faithful to the original, and you don't have to macerate oranges in your kitchen for 3 months. So to make a Brooklyn, we start with 1 or 2 dashes of Fee Brothers orange bitters. Regan's orange would work as well. Don't use Angostura orange, it's too zesty. And 1/4 ounce of Amaro Ramozzotti. To this, we add 1 more liqueur, 1/4 ounce as well of the Luxardo maraschino liqueur. Other maraschino liqueurs will be great, but Luxardo is great as well, and it's the one that you can find most easily. Next, 1/2 ounce of Dolan dry vermouth. Dolan seems to have that perfect middle ground, not too present, not too light. Great for this cocktail and others. Finally, star of the show, 2 ounces of rye whiskey. I like the Kentucky-style bonded rye, Wild Turkey 101. Rittenhouse is great as well. A lot of rye content, but also some corn content, so they've got some kick. The softer ones that are mostly rye, like Bullet or Templeton, are pretty good. They're still good here, but it's a little too soft. You want this drink to have a kick. The only thing we have working against sweetness in drinks like this is proof. So the 100 proof rye is really going to stand up to the drink and keep it dry. You can use the Indiana rye if you want to. Either way, it is 2 ounces of rye whiskey. And that is a Brooklyn. Now we add some ice, we stir it up. Now, if you've got small ice like this, you're stirring for like 5 or 8 seconds. If you have bigger cubes, you have to stir for longer. And now, strain off the ice up into a coupe. And for a garnish, because we've got maraschino liqueur, we want to join it with one of its maraschino cherries. And there you have it, the Brooklyn. Let's see how it came out. Perfect. I love Brooklyns. This is one of my favorite things to give people who are, you know, Manhattan drinkers who've maybe never had something like this. It's just like a Manhattan, but it's a little bit more complex and it's a little drier. It's a little less sweet. The vermouth is herbal, the rye is herbal, and the maraschino is earthy. It doesn't taste like cherries. It's got a funky kind of earthiness that like forms kind of the floor of the tasting experience, and then the bitter orange of the Ramozzotti and orange bitters is just, it's amazing. It's a little embarrassing. I was so excited about this. I smuggled this bottle home from France, and I was so excited to make Brooklyns with it. And then I made a Brooklyn with this and a Brooklyn with the Ramozzotti with the orange bitters, and I prefer that. I prefer the Ramozzotti. So I will, I guess, just drink this neat or in a couple shots in a pint of beer, which is what it was designed for. And with the Ramozzotti, I will continue to make Brooklyns. Cheers.